So I had thought about doing a ton of editing for this video, make it super cool, put a lot of crazy injections that I've learned into this, overlays and using unique effects. And I really don't think I need to do that, just because that's what I'm gonna be spending the next 2 months on, especially when it comes to, say, my skill and honing it just a little bit more and, you know, cleaning it up a little bit, because I still make a lot of mistakes, and that's okay. But that's why I made the yaBoi platform. It was a learning platform. So I kind of had a plan of how I wanted to kind of finish this video off, just because it could be my last production. And I kind of changed my mind right here at the 0 hour, just because I think it's actually more applicable. And what I've learned is to be adaptable and flexible when it comes to making all this content. It's something that I'm still uncomfortable with. It's really difficult to talk into a camera and edit it. It's not my favorite thing, but I know it has overall purpose. And that's kind of why I really know I have to do this stuff. So rather than ending with this structure and, you know, kind of my speech and stuff like that I had planned, let me go a little bit of a different route, just because I think it's probably a lot better than what I had planned. So the Ring of Fire video, this is one I can't go through in 5 minutes. Unfortunately, I just have to talk about it a lot more. And not just that, I've had time to kind of think about this, how I was gonna make this video. There's a high probability that this is gonna be my last published video. I'm not certain. I just know as this kind of, say, timeline kind of comes to a close, I wanna make sure that this video, if it is my last, it's one of my best. It's something that reflects me as 100% me and kind of what I've learned on this journey, because that's what's most important. The Ring of Fire video was where I really noticed divine intervention. A lot of things came together that I just couldn't put my finger on, and it could never happen again, just because of how unique it is. And it was a great time. It was a fun memory. The hardest part was the production though, and playing the production side is something I'll talk about in a little bit, but let me just talk about it from a participant standpoint. Something I kind of made up, kind of a spin of other challenges, and it was extremely difficult. I knew I just wanted to do something a little bit different. It was going to be really important to get others involved though, so there was a lot more that happened behind the scenes of this stuff. I had a video that talked about you know, some of the disclaimers of this. I tried to reach out to at least 6 people, so I wanted to make it bigger, but I wasn't able to. It was just something that just to get this small crowd was extremely difficult at this specific time, because I had actually had to change it a number of times because some people weren't in town this weekend, or others had busy schedule with their families other weekend. So really just to nail this, just the logistics on time was something that was really unique and difficult to do. Then I had to do things like, you know, have a setup, have all this production stuff in place. And it was something that I was I was doing my best to be as planned as I could, and I had a schedule, but the last thing on my mind as a participant was the actual challenge, just because so much was going through my mind on making a video that I just kind of overlooked how hard this was gonna be. I was like, it's spice. I kind of set it up to be hard, I thought, for most people, and I thought I was gonna really go through it pretty easy, and it was opposite. I probably took the biggest hit out of all of us, and that's fine, because it wasn't about, you know, winning a challenge or doing something like crazy. It was really about making a video. That's what this was. So I knew once the camera started, I was now a participant, because thankfully I had had a ton of help on the production side, because I couldn't have done this on my own. This was something that it took a lot of people to make this, you know, happen, and I tried to show that, you know, that it was more of a production, more of a film. So really the challenge itself of, you know, the 10 stages and the chip, that wasn't the main focus. It was on the characters of the story, and it was making a story and making something fun, injecting humor into it, which is not my strength, is humor and charismatic, and you know, it's just not me. It's never been me. I've been more of the serious type, maybe more strict, more scheduled, and that's okay. That's just who I am. So I'm okay with that. But on that, I took some notes just to, you know, make sure I don't get too lost here. But yeah, the video itself, believe it or not, once I collected all the footage, I sat at a computer for pretty much 30 hours over the next 3 days, just trying to get this done. Because once I knew I had the footage, then it was up to me to cut it and edit it. And the reason I wanted to get it done so fast is because its biggest flaw is that it was a Halloween themed video, right? It's only going to be applicable in the month of October. So I wanted to make sure that it had a little bit of time where people could, you know, click it, check it out, and, you know, hopefully get drawn into the channel to, you know, maybe find out stuff about health and fitness. and the series I was working on and the vision I had ahead. So that was kind of important, was to grind it out, and I did. I didn't sleep very much for a couple nights, and I just worked super hard. And so obviously there's some editing mistakes. Some are on my part just because of rushing. Others were things I just didn't know how to do or fix. So, you know, all this compilation that came together, I had already compiled a lot of the clips and the Halloween kind of theme to it, and the suspense and the music. I had all that before we even shot the video. It was something that I kind of prepared for. So I was like, okay, the only thing I need is to capture the footage. And I was so caught up in that from the production side that once the actual challenge started, I forgot all about production. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this hot sauce thing and I'm getting roasted. And even before the video started, I was like kind of like scripted. I had this little script in place. And I was like, hey, look, we're gonna kind of go through these rounds. You know, you don't have to be super fake. Just kind of be yourself. You know, that's what I said. And I'm kind of thinking in my mind, okay, I have to do these, you know, rounds a certain way, make it look, you know, like I'm going through something. And that's all just real me. I just forgot about the production side once I was in it. So that was crazy as a participant. And that's something that, you know, you don't think about, especially when you're making these videos and challenges. You're trying to do this dual role. And that's what I was talking about, is these multiple hats and multiple roles. So to do this side of it was extremely difficult because I was so focused on, you know, just the other elements that once I got in there, I forgot all about, that I had to do a hot challenge, and it was not fun. So really I had this long-term goal though. It was just to make sure that, you know, I did a really good video because I had a bigger vision in this, a bigger picture of where I wanted to go, where I wanted to take this nutrition stuff, you know, really get people drawn in, help them with health and fitness in the way I knew how. And so I knew it was really important to do a good production on this, because if it was, say, a decent enough product, enough quality to where I could get someone to watch the video, then that would be the first draw, and they would get a sub. Maybe they start to say, okay, let me check this person out. Maybe check some of, you know, the other videos. And health and fitness is one, like, you can't help people help themselves, let's just say. They have to help themselves, but at least if it's there and, you know, at the back of their mind, maybe one day it's like, hey, I remember this guy that did this stuff in food and fitness. Let me go check it out again. That was kind of the whole point. Ring of Fire was supposed to be that production where I kind of said, okay, now I have something to, it's a buy-in is what I call it. Now I have some sort of tiny bit of influence, like, oh, okay, that's an interesting video. Let me check this person out. Because if I don't have that, or some of the other videos that came together, which I think are helpful too, then I really don't have a platform. Because if I do all this health and fitness videos and just shoot this stuff, then I got nobody. There's gonna be no views. Nobody knows who I am. So that was important, is to make a decent video that I could share with others. And what also was very helpful is having others involved, which is the most important part. And I've already talked about that, is having everyone come together, have this fun event, and it looks like a story, or people having fun, and people like watching that stuff. And it was a very positive thing. As a matter of fact, it was kind of Halloween based. And what ended up happening is, after the challenge happened, I changed the music because it had a lot of suspense, and, you know, through the rounds, and, you know, a lot of pain, and, you know, and once I saw how much fun we were having, I completely changed it. I found, thankfully, you know, divine intervention, the right music, just click, 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 and I had new music, more fun, more of a comedy, more of a parody, and that was really important. So, in terms of making a good video, because, you know, everybody does Halloween videos, and some people like scary movies, some people don't, but I think humor is something that everybody loves. So that was perfect. And so to me, that was really my focus, is, okay, make sure this video is somewhat decent, get it out in time. And then once this video was in place and I'd shared it, you know, tried through social media and just through friends, and had other people kind of push it around, word of mouth, I was like, okay, now I can start just focusing on the nutrition and fitness stuff. And then at some point, maybe people will get drawn in, maybe the viewage will go up. So that was kind of really the whole point, is to get this video done. And what's funny about it is, even today, in the analysis, it's the longest watch video, meaning that people watch it longer than the other ones. So some people, you know, there's a view, but it doesn't tell you how long people watch the video for. And the Ring of Fire is still, bar none, the highest one that people have stayed tuned into the longest. They'll watch most of the video, which is fantastic. And not just a draw into the channel, but that they're enjoying it. I do want some entertainment in this. This is something that I struggle with, and it's the reason I'm going in the direction I am when it terms of like how I'm trying to do this health and fitness stuff. I'm kind of changing my style just to be more entertaining, and to get people, you know, a laugh, or to think about things a little bit differently, rather than just my boring monotone voice. So anyways, that's kind of where we were. It was get the video out, and do my best. And then in that time frame from there, I had the opportunity to start now focusing just on health and fitness, which I know the information here, but now is about capturing it on media. And that's kind of where it got a little difficult. So with all that said, yes, it was a ton of work. I'm so thankful though. God really worked a miracle in that one, just to bring not only the passion for me to do something like that and have that idea, but to bring, you know, a group together to have a good festivity. And overall, I captured that memory, and the way it came out, I'm very pleased with, and I hope others are as well. And it was something entertaining and something that'll be really funny in years to come when more time has passed. Because that's, I think, when like maybe the authenticity of something kind of really sinks in as time goes on. And with that said, I don't have a lot of time. And so, you know, I had a lot of things I wanted to do for this video because it could be my last production that's published. I don't know. I don't really know my vision from this point. But rather than saying, you know, from all these cards and plan, let me just go through with what I think and some of the reasons of, you know, kind of, rather than going through all these cards and, you know, ending on the note I had planned, let's just kind of go from my head. Damn it, I don't like that at all. All right, contestants, now I have this video out just for you so you can get a kind of a preview of what we're gonna be doing. 13 rounds of this. Each round is gonna be about 45 seconds because in the terms of heat, we have to kind of wait it out, and that's kind of the game here. My overall concern is your safety. So really this is just for fun. It's something just entertaining. Make sure that you do not do something that you're gonna regret down the road. And we're gonna have a disclaimer before you even start this. So I'm hoping everybody shows up about 5 o'clock. It's something that's kind of crazy, and it's really only for very unique people who are willing to not only go through it, but able to endure it. So if you get into the challenge and you're kind of concerned, or you have apprehension or anxiety or stress, please just back out. It's okay. Don't worry about, you know, letting people down. You really need to protect yourself. Just let your pride go. Let's just say that. Now, not a lot of people can survive this, which is probably why you're trying to do this. It's a challenge, right? And challenges can be rewarding. But we're gonna have 3 different peppers. We're gonna have a jalapeno, a habanero, and a ghost pepper. And we're gonna be eating a whole pepper. I haven't determined the stages yet. I'll let you know on game day, but we have a number of different sauces here. You can go to my Instagram, but there's various things in here, extracts and whatnot. And at the last round, we get to the chip. So I'll have gloves if you need those and want to wear those in case you don't want to touch anything like the chip. Touch it and touch your eyes. That's something that can come into play. We'll talk about some of the things that can happen just as a liability. I'm also going to have things like Tums and milk and things you can have beforehand. Because let's put it this way, I'm not an idiot. I'm going to make sure to do what's best for me. It's for entertainment. So there's a number of different things we can use to our advantage to prevent the disaster, not only in the moment, but for the next day. We're gonna definitely have some of this stuff pre-game. I highly encourage it. I'm gonna provide it. So see this, that's an empty plate. Do not come fast into this. You need food in your stomach. This is gonna be a lot of heat. During the challenge, I'm gonna allow water, but I'm gonna discourage it because it's also gonna make it hotter. In case you're worried about choking or you're coughing or just something, I don't believe that this is any kind of advantage in a spice challenge. So you wanna have a soda and carbonation, that's gonna make it worse too, or if you have beer or alcohol, I highly discourage this. This is gonna wash out all the oils. Alcohol is a cleaning agent, so it's gonna make it even hotter. It's gonna make it harder. But these are not prevented in terms of this challenge. Dozens and dozens of hours of editing. So the more we can capture, the better. You're okay with being on film, your reactions. So if in the moment you're a little more dramatic, I'm okay with that. More exaggerant, that's fine, but don't be crazy. Like, don't have to put on a show. 45 seconds per round, we're gonna have a little delay there just to make sure that, you know, we can get some reactions. Because if we could just blaze through them, we're not gonna get a whole lot of good stuff there, right? So I am gonna have what I call lifelines. So bread is something that's really good about absorbing heat. Milk. And so there'll be a small serving of this. Ice cream too, I'll have a little small serving of this. So if you want to take a lifeline at any point to just see if you can push further, like I said, if you just don't feel right, stop, it's fine. And you've done your disclaimer, we do the challenge, you get to the end, what do you get? Well, unfortunately nothing, other than the pride of surviving something like this. This is all about making something that's gonna reach somebody out there, I guess a unique way of doing it, let's say that. Okay, now that you have the reasons, the intent, if you have any questions, please text me. We may have up to 6 participants in this, so I may spin how we approach this. Good luck, and we'll see you Saturday from 5 to 7 on the 22nd here at my house. I'll text you my address. If you can't make it, please let me know ASAP, because is gonna be really important for how I set this whole thing up. All right, friends, I will see you on Saturday.